If you like the video, please consider supporting James Corp on Patreon. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Season 2 of Test Chamber. This is where we're going to play this time a game called Liminal by quite a few of us. Well, most of us know Dr. Mitch. Who wrote the game? So I think Neil had something to do with it because his name's in the book for some reason.
One or two books.
Rules Wrangler is so if we've got any problems with the rules, we'll have a go at Neil. But yeah, we're doing Liminal, which is a very English game. I have played it before. There are like 3 other stories of Liminal. One being run by Paul Mitchner, one being run by Bud from Bud RPG Reviews, and one being run by Sue. So you know, go check those out for references that will probably be brought up today, including where this originates from. What we're doing today is we're going to be making characters. We're going to be discussing characters. What makes a good group of crew members. A good bunch of crew members, right? That's the correct term for the game, isn't it? It's called a crew. Yeah. And while we're discussing that, we'll be making some characters, getting some names down, and Sue will be just telling us what Liminal is, what sort of stories it handles, and other such funky stuff. And it'll probably be a shorter story or shorter stream podcast today because character generation generally doesn't take too long. A lot of it's filling out sheets, but we will be having discussions and so on and so forth. So take this almost as a guide on how to make a liminal character. That's what I'm going to post it as. That's what it's going to be. So yeah, we're going to start at the back of the pack and get people to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about yourselves as well, because you know we don't all know who you are. I mean, I might know who you are, but everyone else might not know who you are. So we're going to start with Ryan at the far end. Ryan, who are you and what do you do? I mean, I don't need to know your job, but you know. Yeah, tell us a bit of background about yourself.
Well, my name is Ryan. As James said, you can find me on various Discords, including James Corp, Colonomicon, and a few others, on as Niarthlopic. And for those wondering, that is how you pronounce it, James.
How do you pronounce it?
Niarthlopic.
Oh my God, I'm just going to call you Pick.
You can call me Ryan too. I answer to that.
All right.
I don't exist on Twitter, and according to some people with tangerine skin, that means I don't exist. You know what? I'm good with that. I've been gaming for 30 years. First time ever playing Liminal, and this is my first time on a stream, so hopefully I don't crash and burn, but if I do, hopefully it'll be entertaining.
Thank you. Neil.
Hi, my name's Neil. You'll find me on Twitter as @VodkaShock. That's probably where you'll find me the most. I'm just realised after Ryan said that I'm hurriedly approaching my 40th year of gaming, which is horrific.
That means you've almost been playing as long as I've been alive.
Thanks, James. That makes me feel so much better. I'm from the UK. I'm from Newcastle in the northeast of England. I, as well as running lots of games at conventions and at home, I write games. So I've published Duty and Honor and Beat to Quarters, 2 games set in the Napoleonic period. And also for Liminal, I was indeed the rules wrangler for the Liminal rules. And I wrote the Quick Start Adventure and the Pax Pandinium supplement and the upcoming Nova Castria supplement as well.
Would you like to do your game on Test Chamber, your Napoleonic game?
Maybe, so if we can get cards working properly, then yeah, that might be useful.
Yeah. Natalie.
Hi, my name's Natalie. I'm based in Oxford in the UK.
I've been to Oxford.
I role played a fair bit when I was at university and shortly after that, and my first job with a group of people from work. and had kind of transitioned into board gaming as all my friends moved away. And for the first time when I was in lockdown, I picked up role playing again as part of the Dreaming Spires Con, and I played a Liminal game there, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm keen to get back into it. So that's me, really. So
thank you. You all know who I am. I'm James. I run the channel, and I'm the voice of the channel. I mean, it's not the greatest voice. It's very common, but I hail from Essex. I've been playing RPGs for 20-something years. I can't remember exactly. It's not as long as everyone else, though. You know, I'm not. You know, do you know what I mean? I haven't been doing this for as long as these guys. Well, probably about the same length as Sue, because we're about the same age, right? I think,
yeah.
More or less. Yeah. See, we're the young uns in this game. That's what I'm going to say.
Hey, I'm about the same age as you. I think I'm 1 year older.
As I said, we're the young uns, so.
It's a nice thing about role playing. You can be in your 40s and still feel like a youngster.
Exactly. I've got so many RPGs. It's like, and some of them I've never played. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off the topic. Sue, please introduce yourself. I mean, people have heard you from the last game when we played Aliens, but you know.
Yeah, my name's Sue. You can find me in various places on the internet under the name of Savage Spiel. I have been role-playing since the mid-2000s. My favourite genre is urban fantasy, which is why I immediately latched onto Liminal when I discovered it. So that was December 9, 2019. That's when I decided to first have a go at running an online game, and that turned out to be a very good time to get into it. So I've probably run that quick start adventure for Liminal more than Neil has now. It's fantastic. You don't run something 9 times if you don't like it.
So yeah. So what is Liminal, everyone? What is Liminal for the audience? You know, imagine I've never played it before.
Well, first of all, it's an urban fantasy game, and there's a few things I normally compare it to immediately, which would be the Dresden Files, the Rivers of London series, Neil Gaiman's Neverwhere, and also a series called The Shadow Police, which inexplicably isn't mentioned in the book, despite being the first thing I thought of when I read it. So it's a world very much like our own, except that various supernatural things are real, and a lot of them are not friendly. Some of the things that are real include magicians, vampires, werewolves, and fairies.
Giants?
Giants? Well, you might have to find out.
Okay. It's very English, isn't it? It's got a very English twist to the whole lore, right?
Well, I'd say British, not just English, because there's quite a lot of Welsh and Scottish mythology involved as well.
Sorry, yeah, UK. Let's say UK because it's Ireland as well, right? There is Irish stuff in there.
Yeah, but it is pretty rooted in the geography of the location where it's set. So this is why I've chosen to base this campaign in Northamptonshire, because that's where I live, and I know what's around here and what could happen on a supernatural level.
I've never been to Northamptonshire.
To be fair, you're not missing a lot, unless you're really into shoes, in which case you should totally come and see the museum.
No, I'm good. As players, what is our goal?
What do characters do? Well, primarily this is an investigation game. So you're going to be discovering weird things that have happened, looking into them, trying to find out what's going on, and maybe solve problems for people related to supernatural issues. The fine details of that will come down to what your crew ends up being, but a lot of crews tend towards being paranormal investigation groups of some kind. So again, if you've read Rivers of London or the Dresden Files, then both of those would fit right into Liminal, except for the fact that Dresden Files is in America, of course.
I've got the audiobooks. I've only listened to the first one right now. I've only got the audiobooks. I've currently been listening to Sharp, so you know that's all taken my attention away.
I definitely recommend the Radio 4 adaptation of Neverwhere.
It's excellent.
yeah, it's really good and much better than the TV, I think, 'cause the pictures are better.
Yeah, I watched the TV version of Neverwhere, and I read the book.
Yeah, I was just, I mean, I watched the TV adaptation when it first came out, which dates me somewhat. But yeah, I thought the book and the radio worked much better.
The radio's pretty star-packed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
They
good.
didn't spare
Is
anything
it-
on the voices that they got there.
Yeah,
Is it on Audible?
probably.
Might be on BBC Sounds.
Yeah, I mean, if you're lucky, it'll be there. It just depends when they last broadcast it.
One show that screams liminal to me, at least on the supernatural portion of it, is Miracles. It came out in the early 2000s and didn't even last one season. The show kept getting preempted for the US-Iraq war that happened right at the same time as the show starting. So it never really had a chance, but I find it to be a really good show that I just can't get enough of. And to this day, I'm sad that it got pulled off the air so fast.
I never even heard of it. I think you mentioned to me about it before. I vaguely remember.
Yeah,
you
I
saying
mentioned
that.
it in the Discord before, and I can't recommend it enough. Except for Sue, after this game is done, then I recommend it to you. Until then, you're not allowed to watch it.
So I guess our next step is let's just quickly go through the character creation process, right? So what is our first port of call? Like, I mean, do we need to discuss, like, between us what sort of roles we need to cover, or what sort of theme we're going for, or where do we start, basically? Sue, where do we start?
Well, according to the book, we begin with coming up with concepts for characters. However, I think it would probably be a good idea if we had a rough idea what the crew concept is going to be first, so we don't accidentally create anyone that clashes violently with what the crew plan is intended to be.
All right.
Yeah, and we can work out the fine details of the crew once we've made the characters. But if we've got the basic crew concept to begin with, that's a good starting point.
I think we should all be traveling musicians. No.
Traveling musicians with really bad luck. Personally, I was just picturing supernatural investigator.
So some suggestions from the book is you could be a freelance private investigation group who take on cases that have a supernatural edge. You could also be part of one of the existing factions. So, for example, there is P Division, that's the paranormal branch of the police. You could be the Northamptonshire branch of P Division. Or you could be working for the Order of St. Bede, which is a religious organisation devoted to keeping the paranormal secret.
Are these good guy organisations, or are they grey?
It probably depends on your point of view, but they're definitely more on the good side than some of the others.
Okay.
So
The last game I played in, we played as part of P Division, and I thought that worked well. It gives you some advantages in that you've got powers, obviously legal powers of doing things, but on the other hand, it means you can't do anything very sneaky either.
of course, there's also the option of being a deniable asset, so that you're technically employed by one of the factions, but they will disown you if you do anything embarrassing.
So we're like Mission Impossible, yeah?
Oh, all right. One idea. Feel free to nix this if you're not interested. We could be freelance, and we'll occasionally be employed by P Division or some of the other factions, just on something that they don't want to be directly involved with. So again, the plausible deniability. We didn't have anything to do with it.
Sort of off-book civilian contractors.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, particularly if we could. Yeah, so if we've then got access to some of the stuff that the other organizations would have, like records of various sorts, that might be useful.
And then from a meta perspective, this also gives our GM plenty of leeway to say, all right, we don't have to worry about being within P division, but we can still have P division contact this crew.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I mean, I guess it gives us the most scope for having a varied bunch of people.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm down for that. So what are we again? So we're independent investigations that has ties with like different organisations when they need
Yep.
us or when they need something done. Do you know what I mean?
And there's at least some element of it being our job, I guess, if we're freelance. It may not be our main motivation, but it is our source of income, I'm guessing.
What was that? Sorry, this keeps coming into my head, and I can't remember what it's called. What was that TV? Ryan, you probably haven't got a fucking clue. What was that TV program where they were two investigators? I think it was BBC, and one of them died and come back as a ghost.
That was hot. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, that's what's popping in my head.
All right, if
quite
there's
an
only
obscure
two, who
reference,
are we
that
going to
one,
off to
James.
get it down to 2?
I'm going to play a ghost too.
I'm not sure that ghosts are a playable character in this game, but there are plenty of
It
other
didn't seem
options.
deeply feasible to be a ghost.
Why not?
The fact that
Damn you.
most people can't see you would make things difficult.
Pretty
All
handy,
right,
though.
Neil, that's your next expansion. Ghosts, get on it.
Okay.
Why now?
It's 5 minutes. Hang on.
I think we've got enough of a crew idea that we can start creating characters.
I've actually got an idea for a character, but I couldn't see a way of making it. I've got 2 ideas for a character, by the way, but I'll let everyone else go first.
Yeah, I've got a possible idea for a character with a kind of slightly taking on the medic role. So the idea is that I originally trained as a vet and became aware of the kind of hidden world through werewolves, maybe treating a wolf or a person wolf or something. I got called in maybe to tranquilize something. That gives me some medical options for patching the crew up as well, I guess.
That is a good point, though. What makes a good crew? What sort of bases do we need to cover to make sure that we can handle as much as handle as much variety as possible or variation as possible?
I mean, I'm guessing we want someone who's some sort of magician.
So yeah, I guess we've got to cover some sort of magic.
Yeah, and then we need someone being the muscle, someone who thinks he's the brains of the operation. Whether he is or not is another question. By the way, I'm using he, they. So don't take he as must be male.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
So you'd be like the a medic. Well, you said.
Yeah, so sort of studying science background with, because I've studied as a vet, being a medic, but the vet is how I found out about the kind of hidden world, I guess, probably through werewolves or something like that. And so I'm sort of slightly more attuned to animals.
Are you infected?
No, I wasn't imagining I was a werewolf, but that's how I found out about it.
What about you, Neil?
I might go for a sort of an occult forensic investigator. So somebody who's a bit more booky and academic about it. So sort of an occult CSI.
Okay. Ryan?
Neil stole my idea.
To be fair, Ryan, I've got a fair few, so if that's what you want to do, then go for it. I'm sure I can come up with something else.
All right. Yeah, I was picturing somebody who thinks tact means truth accurately and completely told. He's not afraid to ask questions like, I believe this patient here may be experiencing a supernatural or paranormal effect. So it probably gets a few sideways looks, but yeah, that's kind of what I was picturing me playing. But I'm also open. That was just my idea. I'm okay to fill a role too.
What about you, James?
I had two ideas. One idea I couldn't see how to do in the book when I was looking up on how to do it. One, basically, my initial idea was to have someone who had precognition or whatever, and basically occasionally had like sights, like painful sights that would come through and tell him of the future. I haven't been watching Angel at all, and but yeah, that sort of leapt out on a page. But when I looked through the book, I couldn't see it. Another idea was someone who's a bit scrupulous, and basically got caught robbing like perhaps a powerful wizard's home or something, and basically is in servitude of the or I was when I was looking up an oath, not an oath. What was the thing I was thinking? Like I owe them a debt because I attempted to steal shit from them. Where did I find it? Or maybe even a vampire, or something particularly supernatural. Where? Oh fuck me! I can't find it. I did see it. You know when you see something and you can't remember where you found it, where you saw it, but it sort of said stuff about your characters. It was a limitation, wasn't it? That was it.
Yeah, it's obliged.
Yeah, obliged. Yeah, but anyway, but yeah, could any of them be possible, or do we need someone to punch people?
I was going to say, since Neil called out the paranormal investigator proper first, I'll play the muscle. So I'll just be a straight up werewolf.
Okay, so that possibly means that we know each other.
Sure. Maybe.
Well, I mean, obviously we all do know each other because we're in a crew
maybe
together,
you and I go back further. Maybe it was my pack that got attacked. I was the lone survivor, which explains why I wouldn't have my pack. And it gives you and I a tie, and I was the one you healed.
Okay, let's go with that.
We need a magician, though, don't we?
We do need a magician, I think.
Well, I can probably finagle enough of the magician type things like the sight and counter magic, which you can take without actually being magical. So have magical stuff without actually being a proper full-on mage.
Okay, yeah, and I guess if you're doing sort of the more arcane forensics, I can do the more kind of medical forensics, maybe.
Yeah.
And sciencey forensics, and you do the more law-based stuff.
Yeah. Definitely.
Is my first idea workable, or is that impossible?
The thing about visions of the future is that as the GM, I don't know what's going to happen in the future because that depends on what you lot do.
True. All right. I'll
So simply put, it's a power without use.
All right.
Yeah, I've occasionally managed to make that work in the game, but it is a big challenge.
I mean, I could always go full-blown wizard, Neil. I could always go down that route.
I did quite like the idea of the criminal, though, because that gives you some interesting potential skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Breaking, entering, that's always fun.
And as investigators, you'll be able to go into the criminal underbelly, which the rest of us may or may not be able to get a whole lot of information there if we survive it.
There is actually an option to have exactly what you want, James, which is the foresight power under the divination magic.
Right.
It actually says, unlike most diviners, you sometimes have visions of the future. The visions and omens the GM might give you can involve the future. and then you can force it and spend will if you want. So it is there.
Oh, there is rules. I could mesh them into one, right? I could just say,
Yeah. Yes, you'd be a criminal who has visions of the future.
Which might be helpful if, and maybe it served you well up till now that you would occasionally get warnings that people were on their way.
yeah. Except it led me straight into this whoever my obligation is to, right? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the other thing I came up with as well is like maybe his family disappeared and he doesn't know where they've gone. I don't know. That was another idea. Sorry, I had loads of ideas kicking around my head. So I spent like this week looking through the book.
I like the magician criminal thing you got going on, because that can be really useful to us as a group of investigators. And then if you owe someone, is it a faction or is it one of us?
I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead.
Because maybe it was my pack that got killed trying to save your hide. So it was me you owe. I'm just throwing ideas out. Say yes or no. I don't. Doesn't make me no. Never mind.
Well, one option for the crew is to have a patron, is someone supporting you to some extent in what you're doing, and potentially providing resources.
Yeah.
So if this is the person that James's character attempted to rob, then perhaps they're forcing James to work with the crew as part of the obligation.
Yeah, that
works. What is it? Working with me is a punishment? I have many co-workers who would probably agree with that statement.
Well, no, I don't imagine. I mean, I don't. I'd imagine that he didn't really before breaking in. Whether it's a shop or do they have like shops that sell magic items and shit? Or
was imagining stately home actually if we've got a rich patron. So rich guy who owns occult items.
Yeah.
But shiny occult items that are worth quite a lot because they're made of precious metal.
Yeah. So we don't go down to Magician's Depot then?
No, we order from Argos. But yeah, I think I'll go with that then. I'm going to go with the criminal who basically got caught red-handed trying to steal from some form of powerful wizard or something along that, or maybe even an organisation. I mean, we can like further develop that. I've spoken way too much about my character. No one's spoken much about their characters. And maybe he has sights as well, like Neil said. Maybe I could buy into that power thing. Or would I need to go down a different route? Am I trying to juggle too much in one character?
Yeah.
Depends on your experience and role-playing ability.
I'm pretty good at roleplay. I've only done it for 20 years.
Well, we'll see what it looks like when we get to the traits bit of the character sheet.
27? I can't remember. 13. I was 13 when I did RPG for the first time. I can't do maths. All right.
No.
I think at this point you've all got your character concept sorted.
Yeah.
So there's a box for that on the Roll20 sheet.
Oh, right.
My concepts, I put thief that got caught.
For now, I'm putting down bitter lost werewolf, but I'm going to flesh that out as we continue.
Okay. What's next, Sue?
Next is your drive. So this is your personal reason for getting involved in the hidden world.
Oh shit!
Is curiosity just straight up curiosity something, or is that a bit too vague?
So you might want something a little more
Okay.
detailed. And so one of the uses of drives in the game is it allows you to recover will points during a session.
Got you.
So yeah, once per session, if you role play something that's related to your drive, then you can lean on your drive and get some will points back.
Got you. I think my drive is going to be mostly around healing and protection of animals more than people, I guess. But linking in with werewolves as well, I guess. I think that, I mean, is it more useful to have something more personal than that?
No, that's sounding okay so far. So it would be along the lines of to protect the lives of animals and occasionally humans.
Yeah.
Neil, you got?
Yeah, I think my drive's going to be based around trying to accumulate as much information as possible in order to be able to. I'm going to write a bit of plot in. So somebody who I care for has been whipped away by one of the faerie courts, and so my long-term goal, maybe something I've been going on for years and years and years, is trying to retrieve that person and find out how to do it. So I'm constantly searching for the pieces of the puzzle to try and unlock the doors to the Queen of Hyde Park's court or something like that, so I can rescue my first true love or something like that. How does that sound for you, Sue?
That sounds lovely.
There we go.
I'll just go stereotype for my drive to protect my new family, my new pack, i.e. the crew.
Can I have a selfish drive?
I don't see why not.
Could I have a drive that's like, try and get out of this, try and pay off this fucking debt I owe.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
Right. Oh shit! What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, obviously I'll fill it out. When I come up with a name or something of who it is, or we can like solidify who it is. I owe money, not money. Owe.
Guilty, I suppose.
Yeah, the party that I tried stealing from. Right, that's everyone, isn't it? I think.
Yep. Right, so next you need to decide on what your focus is going to be. So if you're planning on taking any magical abilities other than shape-shifting, you will need to have magician. Yeah, because the focus determines which traits you can take later on. And with the exception of shape-shifting, you need magician to take any of the magical ones.
And that would include the future sight one, yeah? Is that right,
Yeah.
Neil?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
divination,
okay.
so that's a magician trait.
Right, let me see if I don't take it, what happens?
If you don't take it, you can't have the divination ability.
And the other two, the determined versus tough, what's the sort of top level just difference?
Well, determination means that you get some extra will points and can take determination-based traits. And tough gives you extra hit points and lets you learn toughness abilities.
I'll be determined.
I was going to say I'm going to be determined as well. I think all that studying and stuff, but
Yeah,
obviously more science than law.
Yeah, I'm going to be tough. I thought about determined to add a twist to it, but nah, tough fits better.
I might ditch it though, Sue. I might not go down that route actually. I'm just having a look at like all the talents or traits or whatever you want to call them, and I might just concentrate on just like getting exceptional abilities, right? Is that right?
It's super sneaky.
Stuff like that, yeah. Oh, this thing,
Just
yeah,
to-
yeah. I'm not. Don't worry. So you don't need to figure out what's going to happen in the game and tell me the future site, right? You don't have to do that now.
Yes,
So
I was going to say give you the talents that are associated with the other two focuses. So the determination ones would be fight on, which lets you spend will points to reduce damage from an attack. Inspirational, which lets you donate your will points to somebody else. And jack of all trades, which, as it suggests, makes you slightly better at everything.
Oh, that's good.
The toughness ones, there is give and take that lets you deal damage to somebody when they hurt you. Prowess, which lets you impress people with your physical powers. And supernatural strength, which is exactly what it sounds like.
So if Ryan is a werewolf, does he get supernatural strength automatically?
No, he would need to buy that.
Oh,
But
all right,
being
yeah.
a werewolf means it does make sense for him to have it.
These are I forgot. I assume these are just pre-built characters, right? In the character concept things section. And that one. Oh, you can't see it.
No, they're more sort of templates, aren't they? They're like example characters rather than plug and play stuff.
All right.
Yeah, so they suggest suitable traits, but they're not requirements.
All right, cool. Oh fuck! I don't know. Can I? I don't know what one really suits me though. For focus though, does that make any sense? Oh, okay. So the example one is tough.
Well, I guess it might be good to have a spread. So we've got 2 determined so far and 1 tough. So if you don't have a strong opinion, maybe tough would just be good for balance. I don't know.
Do we not have a magician?
We have tough, determined, and we were saying at the top we need a magician, and we don't have one.
Yeah.
All right. I was going to drop it, but okay. I'll go down. I'll go down the magic route.
I was going to say, I can't remember if it was Natalie or Neil. I think Natalie was saying you wanted to do magic.
Not particularly.
Okay, cool.
But I mean, you know, I could. If
I will, I will do magician.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing to stop you from taking skills that make you a thief as well, though, is there?
No.
They're not linked to that at all. So you can still take stealth and awareness and athletics. And
I mean, maybe if you were a junior magician, you were trying to steal something to make yourself better, and that's when you got caught.
I'm not a junior magician. I'm a junior magician.
And not particularly good thief either, apparently. So it's all falling into place really well.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you will be the best of us.
Yeah.
By the end.
See, James, you sneak in the door, I just rip it off its hinges.
Okay. I mean,
I got all the subtlety of a bulldozer.
I mean, that might help, you know, in some situations, but you know, I imagine sometimes it's handy to like be able to quietly open the door so that we can close it again. Yeah.
Closing doors is so overrated.
Not my heating bill.
Just put it to the side. They'll get confused and try and open the door that's to the side and not realise it's an open doorway. Anyway, yeah. So I'm going to go for magician. That's my. That's what I've gone down for. Right. What's next?
Next is skills.
Oh.
So
Okay.
there
So
are-
I just had a quick question. The vehicle skill, do you presumably to drive a car at all, you need to have one skill point in it?
I work on the assumption that most people can do ordinary driving.
Okay, so we don't need to spend it just to be able to drive a car.
Yeah, so if you feel the need to get into a car chase, at that point, I'm going to ask for some dice rolls.
Yeah, but just getting to work and, hopping in a car, driving it, we don't need to spend money, points, whatever.
No.
Cool. Okay.
And so if you have any questions about what any of the skills mean, feel free to ask. And it's good if you have a fairly, if between the four of you, you've got a fairly broad spread across them, because you'd never know what's going to come up in my scenarios.
Yeah. So I'm going to take quite high in medicine, but it will actually, they don't specifically say veterinary medicine, but I was going to take at least 3 in medicine, but it will actually be veterinary medicine rather than, but I'm assuming quite a lot is transferable to people.
Once you get above 3 points, you can just take the specialty.
Yeah.
So you can go with medicine 3 and then specialty of veterinary.
Yeah.
Sue, keep me honest.
Yep, that is right. So at the moment you have a skill cap of 4, so you might need to fill that in on the sheet. I could not find any way to make Roll20 actually pay attention to that when you're putting them in the values in the skill boxes, but yeah, at this level, the maximum you can have in a skill is 4.
Okay.
So how would I know what magic, like what skills would I need to use magic? Well, let me have a look, actually.
It's usually law for magic.
Yeah.
What
So but that is just, that's knowledge as well, isn't it? So it would be not unreasonable if I'm familiar with werewolves for me to have a law of 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Page 94.
And so is it generally better to have lots of low ones or very much just main specialties?
I would suggest a small number of specialties and otherwise spread them out quite well.
Okay.
Because if you don't have any points in a skill, then the difficulty of those skill rolls is 2 points higher.
Yeah.
So having
although I guess
it's a significant benefit.
But if I take determined, then that gives me, I don't gain the benefit of having the skill, but I don't lose the disadvantage potentially. But yeah.
I have a question. So I went to the divination page. And it's got below it's got, you can buy for 1 point, you can like buy foresight, object reading, and scrying. Where do those points come from?
Those come from your trait points.
Okay, all right, cool. Oh god, this is going to be an expensive character. Oh, it is law. Okay. Have we got how many points? Was it 17? Did I read 17?
Yeah, it doesn't take much to get past them.
It can't go above 4. Okay. Awareness, is that like seeing shit, like observing?
Yep. So you'd be using that for searching a room. It's also the thing you roll when we do initiative in a fight. Let me just look up the skill section.
So I would, if I wanted to take veterinary medicine, I'd need to keep a point back for that. Is that right? So I'd have 3, or do you automatically get a point?
Well, 3 in medicine is 3 points, obviously, and then it costs 1 more point to have the specialisation.
Okay.
And so if you look on the sheet, there's a bit where it says unspent skill points, and it will be calculating that automatically.
Yes, at the moment it's none, so I'll have to have a think about removing stuff.
Now, and just a reminder on the subject of the shoot skill, we are playing in Britain under normal British law, so you will not routinely be walking around with guns.
Yeah, I've given myself a shoot 1 at the moment, but I may take it away just because I need the points on the grounds that I'm assuming I've been trained to shoot a tranquilizer gun at some point.
Yeah, that would make sense.
If you're a country side character,
Well, if we're somewhere
you
near
might have a
Northampton.
shotgun license or something like that. But
Yeah.
Well, there are plenty of shooting ranges
Yeah.
and shotgun shooting places around Northamptonshire. So I've been to a few myself.
What does technology mean?
Is that like hacking and computers or?
Let's see, operation, maintenance and repair of electronics and machinery, computer security systems. So
Would
yeah,
that be like
computers and
electronic locks?
electronics.
Electronic
yeah.
locks. Okay.
Yeah, it's
So,
probably
yeah,
a useful one if you're
operation.
going to be breaking.
I'm staring at the thing. Operation, maintenance, and repair of electronics and machinery are covered by technology skill, as are such things as computer security systems.
Okay, cool. I spent my skills, I think. Hang on, let me add it up. 2 + 3 = 5.
So, Sue, I'm thinking of the reactions specialty within the awareness skill. What is reactions to you?
That is a good question, because I've never had anyone take that one before.
What I'm picturing is it's really hard to catch me off guard. You know, I've just got really fast reflexes or something to that effect.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think that would be one you could use when you're rolling initiative.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be especially useful if I'm ambushed. Maybe what I alluded to when my crew got attacked before, it put some of my spidey sense into overdrive. So I've constantly got something going over, looking over my shoulder, maybe. So I went, just for everyone's knowledge, I went with athletics, awareness, melee, stealth, a little bit of medicine so I can, like, you know, put on a band-aid, little streetwise and taunt.
Yeah, I'm still playing around because I think the problem is the specialties, obviously, if they take away stuff. So at the moment, I've got awareness, melee, shoot, stealth, all very low, but they're 2 for survival because that's got animal handling in. But I can you take specialties later, Sue, if you have the base skill?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so I haven't got animal handling yet, although maybe I should. And then, animal. And then I've got education 2, law 1, just because I know a bit, medicine 3, but with vet medicine as a specialty, science 1, empathy 1, because I'm dealing with animals, and streetwise 1.
Holy shit! I was counting it all up, and I realised you already included a calculation at the bottom. And that you being smart. I would have never figured how to do that. It was just, yeah.
I'm very
I
glad
honestly
everybody's
think you
gone for
underestimate yourself, James.
What have I done?
I'm very glad everybody's gone for physical skills, because yes, we'll let you do that. I've got awareness 3 with the search speciality, education 2, law 3 with the magic theory speciality, gentle little 1 point in science and 1 point in technology, 1 in charm, 2 conviction, and 2 in streetwise.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Is there a sciencey forensic specialty as well? Sue. I vaguely thought I'd seen one, but maybe it's somewhere else.
So it's not specifically named in the book, but there's here we are, medicine forensics. That's one of them.
Okay, so if I have vet medicine and forensics, that means I've got 2 specialties in medicine. Is that allowed?
I don't see why not, but put a comma between them on the character sheet because that's how it knows it's 2 things.
Yep, that's fine. I have. Although it doesn't seem to have counted it yet. Let me just click off it. Yeah, so I'm back down to 0.
Right, so I'm also going to request that you put 0 in any skill that you haven't put any points in because
sure.
Roll20 doesn't like adding things that aren't numbers.
Is there anything you feel we ought to have covered that we haven't? That's just going to make your life very difficult if nobody has it?
Yeah, I think at this point the things you haven't got are merely going to make my life entertaining.
Okay.
Oh dear God.
Jonesing the art skill.
I got art skill. I got art of 1.
Yeah, you've got to know what's worth selling.
Exactly. Is it a Van Gogh or is it a Van Doff?
Van Gogh, Van Gone, right?
Exactly. I think we're all at the same point, aren't we? I think.
Yeah, I think we're all close to finishing skills.
Do you want me to go through the skills that I've gone for and the specializations I picked? Would you like me to do that?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I went for awareness 2. It's just because I imagine they're quite observant of their surroundings, or as good as it can be. Well, it's not 4, but I didn't have the points. I went for stealth 3 and the specialization of lockpicking, so I'm good at getting into buildings when needed to be, or when needed to. I went for art of 1. I imagine being able to figure out what's the most expensive thing in a room might be handy, and knowing that might not be the right thing, but I think it's the right thing. I went for art of 1. I went for law of 2 to help with doing some magics when I need to. Technology 1, so if I encounter anything electronic, I might be able to at least bypass it, or at least oh shit, I need to change that in a second. Technology to basically, if I encounter anything electronic. Charm of 2, just to be able to talk his way out of any situation if need be. Obviously it doesn't always work, hence why I have that obligation to whoever I got caught for. And then street fries, what the hell? Streetwise, 3, lying low was the specialisation. I went for that. That's it. Natalie?
So I've got a lot of low-level skills. So I've got 1 in awareness because I think I've decided probably most of my training was in a sort of more rural farm animal type background. So just knowing when to get out of the way of an animal that might suddenly turn on you, that sort of thing. Melee, similarly, handling large animals. That's more my kind of combat, for want of a better word, is just used to dealing with dangerous animals. Shoot 1, again, tranquilizer darts rather than actual guns, probably mostly, although I guess I might occasionally kill animals to put them down, so horses and things like that. So bolt guns as well. Stealth 1, because sneaking up on animals, useful skill. Survival 2, because that comes with animal handling, although I don't yet have that as a speciality. Then 2 in education, because I had to train as a vet. 1 in law, because I've become aware of werewolves and that's kind of made me interested. 3 in medicine, with a specialty in vet medicine and forensics. 2 in science, so they're all just tied to my medical skills. And then 1 in empathy, which again just helps with dealing with animals. And that's mine.
Thank you. Neil?
I've taken awareness 3 with the search speciality because somebody who's an investigator, and especially an occult investigator needs to be able to spot the hidden. Education 2 to reflect his general educational ability. Law 3 with magical theory, because he's very much on the theory side of magic as opposed to, you actually talented magicians. Science 1 and technology 1. A little bit of charm, a little bit, a little suave, so proper role playing for me. 2 in conviction, because he is a bit sort of single-minded, and 2 in streetwise, because it's not all about the academics. Sometimes you have to get down in the gutter and know dangerous people in dangerous places as well.
Thank you. And Ryan?
Where Natalie took a little in many skills, I took a lot in a few skills. So I have athletics of 3, no specialty. Awareness of 4, where my specialty is reactions, so it's kind of hard to get the jump on me. Melee of 3. Stealth of 2, because it's nice to be able to sneak up on whatever I'm attacking, or better yet, sneak up on somebody who thinks he's sneaking up on me. Medicine of 1, because poor Natalie here, heal or heal thyself is something that somebody shouldn't have to deal with. And before Natalie came along, maybe in my crew, I was kind of the patch it up guy. Streetwise a 2 and a taunt of 1.
Okay, that's it. I think that's us, all of us done.
Yeah.
Yep. Scroll a little further down the sheet. Under where it says attributes, it will have automatically calculated your maximum endurance and will. So
That's based on whether we're determined or tough, is it?
yeah, and also on some of your skills.
Oh, right, okay.
So you'll just want to set the current ones to the maximum.
Okay.
Is there only 2 attributes then?
Yep. So the next bit we need to look at is traits and limitations. So this is the bit where you're going to need to write some things in manually.
Or just cut and paste from the PDF?
Yeah, that too. Traits all have different prices. There are different ones you can take depending on which focus you took. You have 5 trait points to start out with. You can take up to 2 limitations, which will get you 1 extra trait point each. To add these on the character sheets, you just press the add button and then fill in the appropriate bits.
Okay. And how many points do we have to spend on that?
5.
5.
And again, there are some boxes on the sheet to show how many you've spent.
All right. So even though I'm a werewolf, I still have to take shape changer as a trade, right, Sue?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So if I take obliged as a limitation, do I have to take 1 limitation? Sorry, I'm just getting my head round. Do I have to take 1, or do I? If I take 1, I get 1 back. Is that correct?
If you add a limitation, it will add 1 trait point to your unspent trait points.
See, she knows her stuff.
I took obliged. Oh.
So underneath the name of the trait on the character, there's a character sheet specific question. So I write my trait shape changer, the point cost, and then underneath that is a box that's just for a description.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I've left the description for now.
You can always add them in at a later time.
So Sue, I'd like to take the marked limitation.
Okay.
I'd like to cast no shadow.
It's always a nice weird one.
So my shadow's been, it was all part of this horrible fae stuff that put me on this path. So they took my shadow as well.
Do you want me to say it to the bottom of your souls? Is that what you want? Peter. There we go. There's a new Liminal game based on Peter Pan, but It's in
Oh
the
God,
Fae
of
realm.
course, it's Peter Pan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
You might no, James. Don't be rude. I was going to say maybe you're too old when it came out. Sorry, you can punch me when you see me.
I'll get
That's
right
what's
on
there.
that.
The piercing Care Bear stare does good for the podcast, does it?
Big business. No. What do I want? Oh, breaking an entry probably.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
I'm
choice.
I'll take that.
So,
Always prepared is interesting as well.
so James, breaking and entering. I'm the one who breaks. You're the one who enters.
Sure. I think it's more. I think it's a bit more finessey than that, though. I think I think it's more about like, as I said, like leaving the door intact, not taking the door out. Because I mean, any klutz could like take a door down, right?
No, you have to be a very strong klutz to do it.
Or a car, just ram the car into the door.
Yeah, but then you have insurance to deal with.
No, if it's not your car, it isn't. Oh, night sight might be good. How much have I spent? Oh, I've got 3 points left. What does
Did
Sneaky
you-
do?
Sneaky. Oh, did you want any more divination abilities? Sneaky gives you a bonus to stealth if you're hiding or moving without attracting attention. Or walking without being seen, as I think it's officially known on this channel.
Well, it's walking without being spotted. Walking without being spotted is the skill. Okay, I'm going to take walking without being spotted as a trait. Actually, let me go, before we do that, let's just quickly go have a look at see how much that costs. Oh, shit. Page 94.
I mean, if you
Is
wanted
there
the foresight ability, that costs 1 point.
I might take I might take both, actually. Object reading and foresight, because they're only 1 point each. And I can also still take sneak, because I've got 3 points left. So if I take sneak... Right, so I'm going to take sneaky for 1 point, or walking without being spotted. Let me put that in brackets. Walking without being spotted. That's 1 point. That's blessings to innovation. So if I take foresight, which is 1 point. Good. Okay, foresight, 1 point, and then. That. I mean, for you, that could potentially be handy because you can sort of like point us in the direction if we get fucking lost.
Yeah.
And then object reading. Object reading, and that's 1 point. The other benefit of doing this as a slightly longer form game as well is that we'll actually get to like encounter experience as well and spend it and
Yep.
use that, so we can have like discuss experience and shit. So that's always good. Right, I've spent all my points.
Yeah, I've gone for animal sense and healer, which can obviously just link in with my veterinary skills. Jack of all trades, which is my determination skill that I've gone for, which means that I can have a crack at most things, which also kind of fits with the way I've spread my skill points as well, I think. and then bookworm, because it's hard to get into vet school. And at the moment, I'm tempted to go for the sight, which allows me to see shape change creatures. But I'm not so sure about that. I could perhaps change something else if someone feels there's another area we'd like covered. I mean, potentially I could get rid of bookworm and the sight and take sharpshooter as well, for ranged weapons, if people felt that would be more useful.
I mean, if Sue's already flagged up, we're not going to be gunning things down, which seems fair in the UK. Then sharpshooter, which is an excellent trait, does have limited value.
Yeah, I'm guessing I probably do have a tranquilizer gun, but yeah. I mean, I might well have a shotgun as well and a bolt gun for putting down animals, but
I'm beginning to feel threatened.
Well, don't stay in line. Stay in a line, and you'll be okay. If you step out of line, we've got your executioner here. It's silver, yeah. It's a silver bolt thing, yeah. Silver plated.
mostly so far I use it for, you know, horses or people who've hit deer. Not the people, the deer.
Oh, I thought you were doing it to the people.
But sometimes I'm quite tempted for the people if they're not being careful. But yeah, no, I'll go with the sight then, because I think it'd be interesting to have someone who's got that.
I've taken the sight as well.
Yeah.
So for me, traits, I went with shape changer. Obviously, I got to be able to change into the puppy.
Yeah.
Supernatural strength, so I can actually rip the door off its hinges. And night sight.
Yeah.
And
so
worth noting, I did not take any limitations.
Neither did I.
A silver bullet will only hurt me as much as a regular bullet.
Yeah, I haven't taken any limitations either.
All the other werewolves look at you and think you're not a proper werewolf. You're put
I
in
can
the
live
werewolf
with that
corner.
mostly because I can live.
That's a swearwolf, not a werewolf.
I've taken investigator, naturally, for the forensic occultist. Investigator's pretty much a given, and bookworm. And I've also pursued the not honestly a magician in theory, but not in power, by taking the sight, counter magic. So I know the right words to say to counter spells, even though I can't cast any myself. And silver tongue to add a bit of charm and to give me that that ability to deal with supernatural things without them just wrapping me around their little finger.
Cool.
Right, we are nearly done with character creation then. So back up to the attributes section.
Yep.
So I already talked about endurance and will. I say the max boxes are calculated automatically. You'll need to fill in current yourself, because obviously that is liable to change.
Okay.
You'll see 2 boxes for melee damage bonus and shoot damage bonus.
Yep.
Those are both going to be 0 unless you have taken the supernatural strength or brawny traits, which give you a melee bonus, or the sharpshooter trait, which gives you a shoot bonus.
Nope.
Please fill those in, because otherwise Roll20 will throw a wobbly when you try to do an attack roll.
Did anyone else take a limitation, or is it only me?
There's the shadow limitation.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I took marked.
That's cool. Right, what's next, Sue?
It would be a good idea to, if you have any standard weapon type things that you're likely to carry around with you, now is a good time to add them in.
Where do they go to? Sorry.
If you see the combat section,
Yep.
there's a bit for rolling initiative, and under that it says unarmed, which will be your standard unarmed attack.
Yep.
And under that there is an add button where you can add in extra weapons.
Okay.
Where do we? Is there stats for weapons or?
Yep, on page 24 for those of you with the book in front of you. So something like a knife, an improvised weapon, a police baton that has a bonus of 1.
What about like a kosh or a blackjack?
That would come under small bludgeon, which is also +1.
Okay. Is a kosh and a blackjack the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did think it was. What do we call it? A kosh, right, here in England, or do we call it a blackjack? Or does it depend on where you live?
I'd call it a kosh here on the black. I think blackjack's American, isn't it?
I think so. How do you spell kosh? Kosh, I reckon. Kosh. And that was what? Something plus something? Page 24.
That would be 1.
A 1, yeah?
Yep.
All right. Okay, cool. That's all I think I would carry. Maybe I'll have a knife, but it'd probably be more like a pocket knife rather than like a full-blown knife. You know, because sometimes... Would I have any other tools? Crowbar? No. I probably don't.
In my fist.
Yeah, I'm thinking our werewolf might have teeth.
Yeah, I mean, he's got teeth. Have you got teeth, Ryan?
Arr.
Or is he wearing dementias? I don't know what to say. Dentures.
Have you ever thought about rebooting yourself, James? Maybe.
I went with unarmed because honestly, with the supernatural strength, I don't know that I'd really feel like I need to use something else.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the stuff that's in my vet bag. So I have potentially got a tranquilizer gun, although I probably don't carry that routinely. I've got a bolt gun, but I don't know whether that's really shoot. I think that's kind of more close range in a way, but it is something you shoot, I guess. And then scalpels. But otherwise, I think that all relies on me and having my vet bag, medical bag with me.
We can add these in on the fly as well as required.
Well,
but I don't habitually carry a weapon as such. I just have veterinary kit with me.
As a vet, you train longer than a doctor, like a full-blown like human doctor, because you got to learn like so many different animals.
Yeah, I mean, mostly deal with farm practice, I'm going to assume, in rural settings.
Oh,
I mean,
all creatures great and small.
Yeah.
So when it comes to actually rolling attacks, when the time comes, most weapons are 1d6 damage. So you'd be pressing the button with the single dice on it.
Yeah.
So there's some magical attacks that do 2d6, which is why that extra button is there. And also one of the options, if you roll a critical, is to do an extra d6 damage. So again, you'd use that button. But normally you'll be using the single d6 button. And I think that is character creation done. So we can move on to crew creation.
Oh, okay.
Cool. I do as much damage as a heavy firearm.
That's why
Don't mess with the werewolf.
That's why I've not taken any weapons. I have you.
So
that's why I didn't grab a shield. I have you.
So where's the crew creation stuff, Sue?
That's page 62 in the book.
Right. Is there anything in D20 we need to know about?
I have made a handout, which you should all be able to access.
All right.
Which obviously doesn't say much, but...
The crew, independent investigators with ties to the factions.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, and this is the point where we're going to add to that.
Cool.
I've never done this before. I've only ever played with pre-gens.
Right, so the first thing we want to think about is where you are based. And I'm going to suggest somewhere in Northamptonshire.
Good
London.
enough.
Running.
Dallas.
And so there is
No,
a map of Northamptonshire on Roll20.
I mean, we could be in Toaster just for the sheer amusement of how it's spelt.
Where?
Yeah, it's the thing that looks like Towcester. It's Toaster.
I
Where's
used
that?
to have to drive through it every day. It's just south a bit of Northampton.
They have racing there, which might be a reason why I was there. I might
There.
partly practice on
Yep.
race horses.
To be fair, if we've got our offices are in Northampton, we don't have to be
No,
like
Maybe we're
it's-
based
it's-
in Milton
it's,
Keynes.
it's not that big a place.
no.
You know, we could be
Oh.
from all over the place. So I would mind being, you know, my day job being a lecturer at one of the sort of universities around and about. They're all over the place, aren't there? There's Neen and there's
Well, Cambridge is literally on the map. I've been to Cambridge quite a few times. It's only an hour and a half up the road. It's not that far. I used to go to there used to be a really cool gaming shop in Cambridge called what was it called? Inner Sanctum or something. Inner Sanctum, I
Yeah.
think, or something. I used to go there all the time.
Well, I'm gonna assume that I was in a vet's practice in Toaster then that did some race horsing stuff, which would also explain the stun gun. So I don't know how full time is the crew normally. Would we more normally have day jobs, or am I more likely to be something like a locum just filling
it'd be
in?
Mask. Have you ever seen Mask? You know or is that a boy? That's okay. I was about to say we all have watches and our watches bleep with like. No, I'm just joking. I don't know what's wrong with me today.
yeah. I'll be a visiting lecturer at Cambridge Uni then, but you know, visiting very rarely, and I can live in and around Northampton. That makes sense.
Well, Leicester's got a university as well, hasn't it?
There are many universities around that part of the world.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it?
Northampton.
Well, I mean,
has its
even
own-
Oxford's not that far from Northampton, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
I mean, it's basically halfway between Oxford and Cambridge, isn't it? So you could
Yeah.
be visiting lecture in lots.
Yeah.
I mean, Oxford has the advantage it's got the magical college in, doesn't it? I don't know if Cambridge has a similar one.
Probably
So
why I
where do we
chose
want to base?
Cambridge.
So what town or village or where would we base ourselves in Northampton? Northampton, not Northampton.
Should we just be based in Northampton? That makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, or outskirts if we need a bit of space for stuff, storing equipment
yeah.
or whatever.
Ryan's character might need to be taken for walks, right? So we don't want to be too.
There it is.
Too
Honestly,
much
I
of a
figured the
popular
squeaky
place.
toy would be the first one.
There
No,
are
'cause
some
you-
nice bits of woodland around.
What, Northampton? I've never been there. I don't
Yeah, I'd
Well,
say sort of
yeah.
outskirts. I mean, I don't know if they have a ring road, but somewhere just over the ring road of Northampton, maybe. So we've got space for vehicles and kit and stuff, where the house prices are a bit cheaper, I'm guessing.
Yeah, as for where we're going to be located, Ryan, the player, will completely defer to you all because to me, this is a map.
Well, it's not that different for me, really.
Sue, you're the local. I realize these are our characters, but where would make the most sense for us to be based?
Just
knowing what you know about our characters. If we're looking for day jobs, I'm probably not going to be able to hold one down very well. I'll usually be like a bouncer or something, but I often get carried away. So we have a bad-tempered bouncer, a criminal, a vet, and a scholar. This ought to be a hilarious group.
and you need somewhere to be based.
I mean, is there an industrial park near a wood or something?
Just looking
Something
up
vaguely warehousey?
Have we played in Northampton before? Because I vaguely remember this little lake here near Grand Union Canal or something.
Oh,
near
Long
there.
Buckby's near the canal. There's a lot of stuff in Long Buttonby as a sort of marina, I think. So one or more of us could live on a canal boat if you fancied it.
Rather than getting tied down in the minutiae of whether there is actually a warehouse or something like that, because there's no point in getting excited about the realism of whether there's a warehouse where we're going to store our werewolf.
Yeah.
Should we just say there is, that we've got a lockup outside, somewhere in the outskirts of Northampton where we store our stuff?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking Billing Aquadrome, because it's nominally a holiday park, but a lot of people do live there.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a nice bit of outdoors for the werewolf to run around in.
The first person that suggests tying me up to a leash, I crap in your shoe.
Not doing yourself any good there, are you?
James?
What?
James, I'm mostly directing that at you.
That's all right. I'll take you to the shoe museum and you'll get confused.
Whereabouts is that, Sue? Is that in Northampton?
Yeah, it's just south of the A45 on the east side.
Let me just zoom in.
It's also going to be the host of a convention in a few weeks' time.
Right.
Is happening there.
A45, yeah. I'm looking on Google Maps.
It's near the M1 as well, then presumably.
Yeah.
So handy for connections.
Oh.
Yep.
The stream
Sounds
cat
fine.
makes another appearance.
I thought you said stream chat, and I was thinking, what?
No, my stream cat.
Oh.
She's really sweet, but has the face of a Batman villain.
One of my cats looks decidedly demonic, but
Cats make me sneeze, so I don't have any cats. Right, what's next? So we decided on some sort of aerodrome place or something. Was it aerodrome?
Aquadrome.
Oh, okay.
There's some water there. It's not as exciting as the name sounds.
is it an ex-gravel pit?
It's not quite a gravel pit. It is a holiday park.
Right.
Who's writing this up in the crew thing?
I'm adding bits as we go along.
All right, perfect.
If
Just
you
want to
feel
make sure that it's covered.
if you feel like expanding on it over the week, feel free to edit it. I think you've all got permission.
Right.
Right, so next part is the crew goal. So this is something that you are all working on together. So it could be a finite task or more of an ongoing thing. So quite a popular one is protecting ordinary people from supernatural predators. Another one could be preserving the boundaries between the hidden world and the mundane world.
Is there any other option or any other examples or?
The final defeat of a powerful enemy.
I mean, were we going for having a patron, or because then I guess we're just tied into their goals? But
Well, maybe who I owe the oath to is the patron of the group, which is like was suggested before, which is why why I've been dumped in this group.
So ultimately, what you pick as a goal, if you're doing it because your patron wants you to, then what you pick as a goal is what your patron is going to want.
Well, for me,
So maybe our goal is to reform James.
and his character. For me, I quite like the idea of maintaining the barriers, maintaining the distance between the supernatural and the mundane. Obviously, that feeds into the little sort of story hook that I plugged into my character, but I think it's also, certainly like James has got a bit of the magic stuff's intruded on his life as well, hasn't it? And
yeah, and I guess that
Natalie's too.
Yeah, because I'm really don't. If people find out about werewolves, they're gonna kill more of them, and I don't want them to. So I guess I'm sort of tied in with that. Yes, just keeping it separate as much as possible, protecting people and vice versa.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, I mean, sort of, I imagine I'm quite, even though I have a magic background, I think it's more along the lines of like, it's something new. Like I didn't know I had it, maybe I, like these visions that I'd have just happen randomly and I didn't know why or whatever. And I sort of imagine that that this person that I owe an oath to deliberately set this all up in motion to get me to basically learn about what I've got. Does that make any? Is that making any knowledgeable sense at all?
Yeah.
Or coherent sense. And it was all basically a ploy. All a ploy. Basically, maybe he was even one who hired me to do the job, to rob his building through a third party or something. And then when I got caught, he basically was like, without telling me, you can either do this or I will do. But it's really because I'm just waffling, ain't I? Maybe
You're not waffling, you're thinking out loud.
Yeah, it was more along the lines of like, this person has a gift. He doesn't know he's got a gift, so I need to get him involved and learning about how he can use his gift for the better, for bettering people, I guess. But
Or just achieving his ends, whatever they may be.
So what should we? What has anyone got any ideas on what his what the goal of the crew will be?
I think people were generally okay with the preserving boundaries between hidden and mundane worlds.
Oh yeah, because basically we're covering his fucking shady dealings. Yeah, is that what?
Yeah, my character's loyalty is actually to this crew, and if somebody higher up than me in this crew has a loyalty to a patron or says let's preserve the boundaries, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
So you're a good boy.
Yeah, we'll get you some dog treats.
There it is.
We'll get you some Scooby snacks.
Boy.
Right. What's next, Sue? Is there anything else on the list?
There are quite a few more things to do. So we have the reason that you take on cases. So there's a few suggestions. And I think we've largely covered this already, but one is a sponsor, which is someone who from time to time gives you jobs that you have to take on.
I think that's at least part of it. It'd be quite nice to have a bit of freedom to take other jobs as well, I think.
Yeah.
Which might be either altruism or just a straight job.
Yeah, it can just be that it's a job, that you advertise for jobs and people pay you. There's the option that you have a relationship with a faction and you have a positive relationship with them so that they give you jobs and you can call on them for help.
Does it have to just be one choice or could it be a mixture of a couple of them?
I was going to say that we, through talking, we have sort of got to a point where we are privately contracted through to our patron type sponsor, but we also right at the beginning said we were going to be called upon by P Division as well on occasions.
Yep.
So we can sort of have a public private side. So
Yeah.
Sometimes we're doing it for our boss, sometimes we're doing it for the government, sometimes we're doing it for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of times we take cases because, you know, you got to eat, got to be able to pay for your food to eat.
Yeah, I guess it depends how busy our sponsor and P division keep us. So I think I'm definitely open to the occasional side job. But that also depends on how much I'm doing my day job as a vet and how much I'm just this is my day job and I just do a bit of locoming to keep my hand in.
Looks
we
like
come up
you've
with
got plenty of motivation.
Should we come up with a name of the patronage? Patron?
I think we should at least know who the patron is, whether they're human or vampire or whether they have a faction.
Or whether we think they're human.
Well, yes, okay.
Well, one possibility is that there is a famous wizard living in Northampton who I will not name because he's a real person.
Right.
All right,
Who's that
so we'll
then?
call him David Copperfield.
You're not
for the time
suggesting
being.
that we become the agents of Alan Moore, are you? Be still, my little fanboy heart.
Well, I have used that particular wizard as an NPC in games before.
No, it's a bit weird for my taste. I don't know. Maybe we could just make up a name. What could he be?
Well,
though?
well, do we think he? I mean, you know, bearing in mind that he might not be or she might not be, do we think they're human or fae or vampire or what?
I think they would be some sort of magic user along the line, someone that deals with magic. Whether they're any of that, I don't know, but I don't know. I imagine they're like, I would imagine. I mean, obviously you can overrule me, everyone, but I imagine there's some sort of powerful wizard of some. Do we call them wizards? Or are they just called mages? Or what is the actual term? Magic user. There we go.
It's whatever they prefer.
Some sort of magic user, probably quite influential in the. I look like Holly right now. I'm like a floating head.
I mean, so it could be that it's one of the organisations. So
yes, a powerful wizard could easily be from the Council of Merlin.
Yeah.
Is that the bad people or is that the good people?
It's the we've been around forever people.
It's the rich people.
Yeah.
Very, very rich magic
maybe.
users.
Which would make them a good target for a thief.
Yep.
Should we say Council of Merlin? So a member thereof?
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, member of the Council of Merlin.
Which means it is most likely to be a bloke then, because they're a bit sniffy about women.
Well, maybe that's why. Maybe they are a she, and that's why she's got us working for her to
Could be
prove a point or something.
So I had something from a TV show. I wanted to make sure to get it right. Sodalitas Querito, Latin for brotherhood in search of truth.
What's that for?
What show have I been trumpeting? Miracles.
Oh.
No, it's yeah.
I mean, there's the Order of St. Bede, I guess. So they could be an offshoot of that, maybe. That's the one that's very much about keeping things hidden from the world, and that they do include some magicians.
Mm-hmm.
But consider magic is a sin, which might explain why they have a crew that doesn't actually have very many magicians in it, I guess. I don't know. I just thought Merlin was quite a good shout, though.
Yeah, I think Merlin's good.
Yeah, it fits in with the character concept we've got to go with it.
Huh?
We just need to
So
know. Would we know their name? I guess we would know, or at least a pseudonym, right? Whether it's their real name or not.
Yep. I'd like to finish the crew assets section while we're on that part.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, each member of the crew can choose an asset. There's a fairly long list on page 64 onwards.
What assets? Sorry.
Things that are useful to the crew, and having a patron is one of them. So that one is going to be your pick. So some other things you can have are a base of operations.
I'd like a base of operations.
I was thinking I might have medical facilities.
Oh. Did we not? Oh, we already picked. How many did we get to pick, Sue?
You get to pick one each.
All right. So
4 in total.
Oh. Okay. Can we have a base
So
of
you can
operations?
discuss between you which ones you want to pick, of course.
Do we want a base of? I'd assume we want a base of operations, right? Like a place.
Yeah, if we're running a business, basically, yeah, we're gonna need a base.
Yeah, we're gonna need a base. I mean, theoretically, I can probably, to some extent, one of the advantages of hanging on as a locum and maintaining, I could maybe get away with running some of the stuff through where I work as a vet. But if we've got spare, I don't know, points, for want of a better word, then it might be quite good to have either a lab or medical facilities.
So we've got a base, we've got a patron,
Yeah.
medical facilities. Is there anything you particularly want, Ryan?
Well, what can my character provide is the other question. And the only thing I can think of is hideout. From my past, my gang had its little bolt holes here and there. There you go. Yeah, my character had that. We got the bolt holes here and there. And there's one that our enemies haven't found. So if we need to lay low for a little bit, we have a place to sleep.
Yeah, I'll leave because I was going to suggest a cult library, but that's
Well, that would be.
That's something we can gain access to through experience by proving ourselves our patron. So.
Yeah, and if you're a visiting lecturer, you could probably wangle access to at least some of the academic libraries, which may include the occult.
Only when we actually buy it do we get the benefit. So
yeah,
that's something for the future.
Yeah.
James, you had something.
I was going to say maybe the occult library is more important than bolt holes.
Yeah, and again, medical facilities, I can probably get by with using my own, the vet's medical facilities for a bit.
Yeah, but you get
but
if you bring a bunch of human people in to treat them in a vet's, you get looked at funny.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'd have to sneak them in after hours or sneak the equipment out to our base. I'm just saying, if we think something's more important, we can leave it.
Yeah, just
getting a ride into a dog basket's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, and like I was saying, the only one that really fits for what my character would be able to provide is the hideout.
Yeah.
Because my previous pack was dead, there goes a lot of like informants and stuff.
Well, I've got, like I said, I took a specialization which is lying low, so I probably know quite a lot of hidey holes around.
But it's your, I suppose one of us can have the patron, can't I? Because
Yeah, I had the I guess it's sort of all of us.
So these are things that all of you have collectively. So
yeah,
we've talked about the patron from the start, so that's definitely a given.
Yeah, so we've definitely got a patron and we've got a base.
So that's another one. So that's 2.
Yeah.
So do we want? So it's basically choose 2 of 3 or 4 of the other ones, and it's just what do we want? Do we want somewhere where we can actually heal if we get injured? That isn't like, Northampton Hospital. Do we want to have access to an occult library so we can look up occult stuff? Do we want to have like a workshop for engineering and putting things together? Do we want a laboratory? Do we want hideouts in case we get chased and we need somewhere to lay low as a group, not just as an individual? So it's whatever do we think is the most important. We've got 2 of those we can have.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is that I don't know, that could conceivably be better useful is transport. So do we have, like,
Bus.
yes, something to get us around to places, or do we all just turn up on our own transport or give each other lifts in a normal car?
Now, transport makes sense. And that's something instead of maybe the hideout thing. That's something I might be able to provide.
So yeah, I'm quite happy to have the occult library as something that we work towards.
And I'm similar with the medical facilities. I think it'd be useful, but I can probably make do with just trying to clean down an area. But the medical facilities also potentially gives us some, I can imagine there's a bit of crossover with laboratory and forensics. So we can do some basic stuff with medical facilities as well, I would think. Because if I'm doing tests for things, medical things, there's probably a bit of overlap with the laboratory.
Okay, shall we say base of operations, transport, patron, and medical facilities? Because we get
with all the fist fights that I expect to be getting in, I would really like it if we had medical facilities.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Right. And that will save any role playing of trying to find a parking space at Northampton General.
Oh no, none of us took Rich.
Well, see, I supplied the transport. I never said it wasn't a monster truck. We don't have to find a parking space. We just make it.
Good luck getting that down the streets in the UK.
Yeah.
We don't have to find a street. We would just make it.
So the final part of crew creation is working out how good your relationships are with the various factions, but I think we've already got a pretty good grasp of that.
Yeah.
I think you've got a fairly positive connection with P Division as you're getting jobs from them from time to time. You've got a connection with the Council of Merlin, although how positive that is varies.
It's
by
probably
character.
They might not even know we exist, right? If it's done by our Patreon.
I'm thinking that maybe my old pack was attacked and taken out by the Order of Saint Bede. Maybe we got a little too careless with our stuff. We got too careless with our activities, and they felt that we were exposing the hidden world too much.
Okay.
So that would make for a negative.
Can we take negatives?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
I'm guessing that I don't know if it's the same in Liminal, but if we've got a vampire, if we've got a werewolf in our crew, does that automatically mean the vampires are more likely not to like us, or do they just dislike everyone on principle?
I suspect they dislike everyone.
Fair enough.
Okay.
They dislike everyone except for the people with tasty blood.
I guess we haven't said anything about the Fae currently.
Yeah, I'd suggest that if I've got entanglements with the Fae, that they're not going to be overly pleased with anybody who has anything to do with me. So maybe give a negative relationship with the Fae as well, because that's always useful.
Awesome. So we're hated by the Fae, vampires.
We don't. Order of Saint Bede doesn't like my old crew, my old pack, and so I really don't like Order of Saint Bede.
It's fair.
Anything else that we need, Sue?
The final section is hooks, and that is all about coming up with stuff for upcoming investigations. And since I've already written quite a lot of what's going to happen in the next few weeks, we don't really need that part.
All right.
So I think that all that is left is to come up with a name
for the crew.
Yep.
Yeah, something easy that I can actually pronounce and not struggle with every fucking week.
All right, the Scooby Gang.
No.
Is this our trading name, do we reckon, guys? If we are for hire?
Yes, I reckon it would be our trading name.
Mystery Inc.
You know
No.
what?
That's another
Mystery-
Scooby-Doo reference, James.
I know. I'm not that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you knew that one. That one's a little more subtle.
What was you going to say, Neil?
I'm just going to say Mystery Inc. actually isn't that bad
No.
a name.
Really?
Yeah.
Do we have
Yeah.
a mystery? Do we have a mystery wagon as well? Is it painted?
Well, we have transport.
We have transport. We can have a mystery.
We have transport. It's a van because we
Yeah.
got to be able to fit.
Okay. Right, Neil, your character's name is now Scooby.
Ah,
Oh, he's
Not Neil.
Fred.
Ryan. Sorry, I fucking looked at Neil and was trying to talk to Ryan. Yeah. Ryan, your character's name is now Scooby. Okay, that's the only choice you have. No, maybe it's not my call.
Well, it's partially yours. You get a vote.
Can we have a really shit advert that gets played on local radios as well? Can we make a really shit radio
do
radio?
you have things that go bump in the night?
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you
Ghostbusters.
visited by people who you thought were dead? Ring 0898 444 333 and ask for Mystery Inc. We can help.
We haven't even
Oh,
begun, and this has
joy.
already gone downhill. I love it.
I now have a character name. Yay.
I think I've got a character name as well. I just need to find where I put what layer I put my character sheet on. And are we going for Mystery Inc? Yeah, is that going to get us?
You don't have to. I mean, it is a bit silly, but it's.
That's
To
a
be
little
honest,
silly.
it seems a reasonable. Why not?
Okay. We call it Mystery Inc. How do I spell mystery?
Have fun with this one, Sue. Good luck.
My God, we're going to get some idiots phoning us up. It's like every teenager ever telling us about ghosts and prank calls.
Maybe we just call it Mystery Investigations rather than Mystery Inc.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because
go on.
then they might not associate it with Scooby, right? Because we're not going to be going like,
Right.
"Hello, this is what we do."
Ruh-roh.
I was, well, here's something a little off of that, but something that James can pronounce. Border investigations, because we are trying to protect the border between the hidden and
Nottinghamshire,
the
yeah.
mundane world.
We're protecting the Nottingham border from incursions from people from Cambridgeshire. Get out! Get off our land! Like that.
Well, it could be
I'll stick my
Borderland
dog at you.
investigations, couldn't it?
Sorry?
Borderland investigations.
Maybe?
I think Mystery Investigations is
It's fine,
is
isn't
fine.
it?
Yeah, that's totally fine. It was just something that popped in my head.
Awesome. That's really cool.
So what are we? Mystery investigations.
Yes. I think I spelled it right. Mystery. Is that mystery?
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
I've updated the handout with that title.
So I'm dyslexic, so I sometimes struggle with like figuring out how to spell it. I knew there was a Y in there because I used to watch, well, Mystery Men. Right. Anything else we need to cover at all, Sue? Sorry, I haven't gone to break yet, just in case we're going to literally finish like in 5 seconds.
And I think we are pretty much done. We have characters, we have a crew.
Cool.
What do
Right.
you want us to do before next time, Sue?
I would like you to find a character picture.
Right.
I would suggest this person does not exist is a good place to find character images. And also weird eldritch horrors occasionally. But yeah. If you do get a good picture that's got the weird people in the background, you might want to crop them out.
That's a website, is it? This person does not exist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It-
the
it
first
uses-
one that came up was a teenage girl for me.
Yeah,
I don't think that's going to work.
It uses an algorithm to basically make people that like have, well, I don't know. I don't think they exist because it's randomly generated. But there might be people out there that look like some of those.
To be fair,
The human
It
race.
says it does. How would you know?
Yeah. It's
the
just
human
random
race
people's
has rolled the
Facebook
dice enough
profile.
times.
Oh, some of these people definitely do not exist because the alternative is that the Terminators are real.
Maybe they are. Maybe they've come back. Maybe we've all been replaced already. And we just don't know it yet. Right. So yeah. So what we're gonna do? So to do some final wrap ups. Do any of you apart from Sue, Neil? Do you do a VOD or blog or anything where people can find anything about you?
Not regularly enough for it to be able to be mentioned. If you want to stroll on over to omnihedron.co.uk, which is the base for Omnihedron Games, occasionally you can see me batter on about why business theory is appropriate to gaming and things like that.
Do you wanna? Can you give me the link to that, please?
Yeah, of course I can.
Just either chuck it in here or chuck it in Discord, either one or the other, and I'll throw it in chat and I'll get a command set up for you. Have it automatically throw out. I've already got Sue. See, like if I go Sue, what about you? I still need your YouTube thing as well. I'll get that out sorted once I'm finished.
Yeah, I should get on and send you that. But yeah, I'm on Twitter and Blogspot as Savage Spiel. And you can find me on various Discords as well.
Natalie, you got any places that you want to plug at all?
No.
Right. And Ryan?
No. As far as online streaming goes, I can be found here on Sundays at the advertised time, and that is it. Like I said earlier, I exist on a couple Discords. James Corp, Colonomicon, Level 1 Geek, Diesel Shot are the ones I'm most active on. That's about it.
Oh, there isn't a James Corp Discord. It's just called Chambers of Roleplay. Anyway, yeah. So
Same concept.
As for me, if you want to join our Discord, it will be in the description. You'll find all these lovely people in Discord. Twitter, my Twitter handle is James Corp TV, all one word, because someone had taken James Corp, so I couldn't take it, so I had to add some extra letters on the end, and the only thing I could think of was TV. Don't ask me why. Facebook, we've got a Facebook page if you want to follow that. If you use Facebook over Twitter, some people do, some people don't. It doesn't matter. And then YouTube is where you'll find the VODs for this, including our previous game, which was Alien. We also have a podcast that goes. So the VODs go out on every Friday, and so does the podcast as well. They are edited into one video. Any pause, like long breaks, will be taken out, and it will be generally a much not cleaner, but more probably a faster way of watching it than the live stream. But the live stream, you potentially can input onto the live stream if you watch the live stream every Sunday. I mean, we keep an eye on it. Like we do sometimes take suggestions from the audience, like NPCs, if we can't think of an NPC name or whatever. And you can interact with us live while we're playing. If you're a Patreon supporter, you get access to the VOD on YouTube on a Tuesday. So you can listen to it about 4 days before it's supposed to come out. I mean, it's not much, but it's something. Do you know what I mean? Also, depending on your level of patronage, you can actually get access to playing in these games as well. Same for Twitch subscribers. If you subscribe to me on Twitch, you also get bumped up in the ranking if you're going to get on a show, if you want to get on a show. At the moment, my current goal is to try and find a good pool of players to pick from. So if you're, basically that's the goal, because eventually I would like to go back to streaming more than once a night or once a week and do some other games, even if it's just Test Chamber, a weekly, different on a different day, doing a different game. But that will be in the future. But for now, I'd like to thank Sue for taking us through the guiding us through character creation. I'd like to thank the players for helping discuss ideas, talk about keeping the conversation going as we make characters, talking about ideas, giving out ideas and suggestions is always good. And we will see you next week. I think next Sunday at 7 is when we'll start. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you then. Bye everyone.
Bye now.
Bye.
Don't forget, you can support me on Patreon over at patreon.com/JamesCorp, and also get your name here in the credits. I'd like to thank Eris, Weefs, Orcus Dorcas, Matt, Mike, Ludovic, Adrian, Bud, Giuseppe and Jaywall for your continued support on Patreon. Thank you very much.